All right, Shalom. This is Harwan by Yasha Allah of the Lions Den Camp, located right here in Jacksonville, Florida. Before I begin, I want to say Kal Halayim, La Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem, Harakah Kodash, Ma'amath. Double honor to the elder apostles of GMS and the elders. Shalom to you, Akim, Nakwatim, and children that believe in sincerity and truth around the four corners of the earth. All right, this is a quick, hydration lesson, man, just real fast. Dealing with this scripture in Sirach chapter 11, verse 11. Now, I've met a few people this week, and as we try to maneuver through this matrix, you kind of, you start having to deal with people. Uh, I like to call them Babylonians or Egyptians today. Or most of them pagans don't even know it. But you start to have to mingle and deal with people, man, like dealing with business or certain opportunities. And it just happens naturally when you're dealing with certain business or whatever, right? You got to associate with people. But as we're doing so, you start to not, if you're strong enough in the spirit, you ain't gonna get consumed by them. But the thing is, you start to notice how cocky they are, man, or how proud they are of that path they went on just to get um the little bit of money that they do have. It builds like a pride in a lot of people. Like I always got money. That type of energy. I've been getting money, and it had me thinking. Um, shoot, I haven't been getting money. I've been on the scriptures my whole life. Like I walked away from the world. I was like a damn monk, and I'm thankful for that path, man, because um, I was talking amongst the camp last week, before camp, and yeah, there's like a path. He said one of the brothers in the camp, Barak, he brought up the tortoise and the hare, and eventually the tortoise is going to get there anyway. The scriptures, the tortoise represents like wisdom. All right. But eventually the tortoise gets to the same destination as the hare, man. And beyond that. While the others get burnt out, they've done that whole path in vain. Because he said, "What? You're gonna suffer loss. Everything you have is gonna get destroyed. It's gonna get destroyed here in Judgment Day, the judgment of the Lord. And we can take none of these things with us. So what's true riches is to be a soul, a spirit that comes here, is sent here to this earth, and you work. You got to provide, maintain. That's the curse of Adam. You got to work in this earth and till the soil, right? But it's still the Most High that blesses us, right? Rich or poor. But the thing is, being a spirit that's sent here, and then you do the Lord's work from your youth to your shit till you leave this earth, man. As long as you can speak and talk. And that's a beautiful process, because in reality, we all must appear before the judgment seat of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. And when we appear before him, we'll be able to see his glory. And we don't want to be in fear at that moment. However, if it's in the spirit realm or in this realm when he returns, we don't want to be confounded in his presence. All right. Or be trembling, like he said, even the demons tremble. So we want to be the ones that's looking to be glorified and joyful to be in his presence, because we know our works follow us, and he's righteous power. So that's the goal, to do his will while we're upon this earth, the creator. So that's the true reward. That's the true riches, the true wealth. So that's the continuance that we ask for. All right. Not only till he shows up, but till we get old and gray. Me, I know I've gotten gray being in this truth from a young child. All right. This is Sirach 11 and 11. There is one that laboreth and taketh pains and maketh haste, and is so much the more behind, man. That's like somebody being in anxiety. I started feeling that. Like you start to feel the hustle and the bustle. and you like, "Oh, I gotta get it, I gotta get it," but, you start to see the rat race that people are caught up in, like outside looking in. Um, so yeah, that the pains and maketh haste, that's that anxiety and the struggle of like a fighter, Floyd Mayweather, somebody that fought their way to the top and still just getting funny money, right? So we should be thankful for the path that we've fought on, even though there's no physical, tangible um, reward right now. Our reward is the kingdom. That's our token. All right, and it's not valuable to these people. And they'll get you like, yeah, what you doing? Shit, same thing you doing. I'm taking my daily bread. I got a regular job. I'm doing this and that. Uh, you know, I'm just maintaining. And they be like, "Yeah, I get money." It's like, oh, we had people joke about us before when we was teaching. They say, "Man, you gotta change up your hustle. I'm getting money. That's what we doing. Y'all sitting on the corner just talking." They would clown us, you know. But it says what? There is one that laboreth and taketh pains and maketh haste, and is so much the more behind. They still got to pay bills, still got to pay mortgage, still, you feel me? So we know that this society is set up. The rich get richer, the poor get poorer, upper and lower class, right? Um, so we know that this system is set up for what? Poverty, to keep people in bondage, all right? To keep you having to work like a slave. It's called sweat equity slaves. So when people say that to me, it's like, yeah, but do you know the Most High? They be like, I go to church, or they say I'm a Muslim, or whatever, but you've been getting money. Like that's the only thing to do. I mean, it is. You got to provide for your family, man. And yourself. But there's more than that. There's another path too that leads to success. Even in financial success, serving the Most High, He can bless you at any moment. He has the power to make anyone rich or poor at the drop of a dime. But in this society, He's not. He's telling us desire not to be rich. Money groweth wings and flyeth away. You're always gonna be chasing it and never fully able to attain a true limit of success. It's always gonna be passing from your hands to the next. It's a circuit, all right, a system. Now it says, again, there is another that is slow and that needeth help. All right, and that's a lot of us in this truth. We're slow in this world. We may not be moving as fast, but you're moving fast in the spirit towards the kingdom, hastening the day. But in this society, you're not really maintaining the state of this world. And they look at you like, what the heck is you doing? Why you ain't putting the brick in the Tower of Babel? What's up with him? We try and go up. um, so we need help. We call out for help, and the Lord is our help. You call out for help to this world, you're gonna get crickets. So you call out the help to the Lord, man. You see, man, He'll send angels to you. He'll meet you right there. You know. So again, there is another that is slow and have need of help. All right. And wanting ability and full of poverty. And that's a lot of us in this truth. And they shame, even some people that claim to be in the truth will shame you for that. You want to have a job and provide and maintain, but if you're struggling, people shouldn't shame you for that. You know what I mean? Um, Not saying I'm struggling, I'm saying in general, right? But this world, they'll look at you like you're dirty if you don't have money. And that shows you people have lost touch with the human, just being humane, man. It's a competitive world now. All right. Again, there is another that is slow and have need of help, wanting ability and full of poverty. Yet the eye of the Lord looked upon him for good and set him up from his low estate. And they're really talking about Jacob. But now it's talking about the elect of Jacob. All right. Not 2/3, man, because they caught up in this world, man. You know, even though you gotta be, you said be in the world, but not of the world, you know. You might make music with people, you might do business with people, you might have any what they call them podcasts or something with people, but at the same time, you know, you're gonna have trouble amongst these people, man. All right. You gotta keep your spiritual guard up and don't let them push low self-esteem on you. All right. So the Lord is the one that's lifting us up from our low estate, you know, making moves for us. When we knock on doors, they open. Or if it's closed, that means it wasn't meant for you, for his path that he got you for. And lifted up his head from misery. So the Lord is going to lift up our head just like he did Job from misery. All right. He lifted up the beggar from the dunghill. So it's the Lord that's lifting us up as a nation and individually. So that many that saw it marveled at him, just like Job. All right. Just like Revelations 11. They all saw us in our dead state, but the spirit of life entered into us, and we stood upon our feet a great exceeding army. So the nation of Israel is being resurrected as well. All right. And Yahushua as well, remember? Prosperity and adversity, life and death, poverty and riches come of the Lord. So anybody, I get money, no, it's the Lord that gave you that. It helps you create the character that you are. Uh, Either you're an extra in the movie or whatever this is, but this is his movie, man. We live our lives as a tale that is told. So everybody has a part to play. The homeless, the sick, the rich, the poor, all these different characters until Yahushua's kingdom shows up and he's going to set everything in order. And that rich and poor state is going to change, you know. And we look for a new heaven and a new earth wherein dwelleth righteousness. This is not a righteous kingdom. And we're not making you know, the development and the riches are not righteous either. It's an abomination to the Lord to have a imbalance in the dollar. Right? Weirdo. It says they're gonna pull up right next to me, stare at me. It'd be weird, bro. They don't even know we teach out on the street. We don't give a damn. But it says wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and the law are of the Lord. All right. So poverty, riches, these are things in the earth, in the world, but also the things that come from heaven, the spirit, the spirit, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, the law are of the Lord. So if you're not in this truth, because the Lord didn't wake you up. All right. So, that get rich or die trying spirit, that's from the Lord as well, on the left hand side. And then that also spiritual, uh, seeking wisdom, seeking knowledge and understanding of the law are from the Lord too. That desire that's in you is a pure, pure influence flowing from the Most High. Right, and the way of good, the way of good works are from Him, and we're in that way of the good works. So as they sitting there telling you about, their dollar or how wealthy they are, but you go to another country, they show you some other worldly riches, man, gold and silver, property, all kind of stuff. But Jake think they, that old slave mentality, man. When they get money, it's something I've been pondering on this week, man. And you know, um, we gotta continue to believe in ourselves and in the work that we're doing, that they're gonna follow us. and it's beneficial. It's the kingdom of the Lord. It's a reward for our works, and He's holding it for us until that day. And He's going to glorify us before that moment when He gives us the reward, so that all can see the joy of the elect that have taken the right path. All right, and have labored, grown gray hairs in His work. It's a beautiful thing, man. And it's the Lord that what it says lifted up His head from misery, so that many that saw it marveled at Him. So the Lord's gonna lift us up, and they're gonna marvel at you, especially in that day. They're gonna be as gold, tried in the fire. It's not gonna be the money or getting a position at a job. They're gonna belittle you. I just got a job recently at this one place, and I felt humiliated the moment I walked in there. I was like, you know what? I actually should feel humiliated because this ain't the kingdom. I believe in like laws and shit. Though. I got rights. I know I ain't got no rights here, but you know. But at the end of the day, you want to be treated with respect. But but it's to be expected in this place, man. Being humiliated, and the Lord is teaching you humility. And He's gonna raise up the meek. You go to a place and there's a woman that's the boss, and she rides your back because you're a male, a man. And that's out of order. Or you go there, some Edomites ruling things. But what also comes from the Lord? Prosperity and adversity. So all the people that's prospering in this world and going through adversity in this world, in the matrix. Life and death, everybody that's living and dying, as we all do. Poverty, except for the elect someday, right? Poverty and riches, right? So being poverty and riches come of the Lord. So, so if we ask anything according to His will, the Lord upbraideth not, so He's gonna bless you. Just like King Solomon, he asked for wisdom, and the Lord gave him wisdom and the whole kingdom. Same thing now, man. All right. What if He gave you this world and didn't give you wisdom? We would be like these Jakes out here. I've been getting money. That was somebody said to me the other day. I was like, damn, not me. And I don't feel bad about it. I feel like I could have, I don't feel bad about it. Everything right on time, man. Of course, I want things. You start to want things for your family. That's the difference. Me wanting things for my family and my brothers in the camp, that's motivation. Other than that, I'd be like a monk out here, man. Or like the dude that started Kung Fu, he went up on the mountain. Anytime a man gets alone in the spirit, if his mind is focused on something, some type of discipline, there's going to be a lot that comes out of that. Same way Moses went up on the mountain, came back with the laws. John the Baptist was sent out to the wilderness as a desert, came back, with speaking to the elect, and with eyes to see Yahweh Shai when He walked up. Ezekiel, alone by the waters, right, in Babylon. So the Lord is calling us alone, but then He'll send you back to the world, like He did Ezekiel. And don't be afraid of them and their faces. They make faces at you, they squint at you, they try to belittle you or change your demeanor, man. And we just gotta, maintain the course. And so all these things come from the Lord. Wisdom and knowledge and understanding of the law are of the Lord. Love and the way of good works are from Him. And you got two sides, man. You got some Jakes that claim to be in this truth, like that dude Deacon Akai. You're starting to see the Lord is shaking us to the core to get out the imperfections in the show what's really at the core of each one of us, man. We all getting tested. And then if we find out it's good there, be thankful because the Lord put that there. He placed that diamond in that rubble. He placed that seed in the soil. But if there's corruption there and death and foulness, like a sepulcher, like a grave, then the Lord has exposed you from the true grimy person that you are. right? Now, and you can see that with that old Sakari camp, man. The Lord exposed all of them, right? If you feel like the Lord chastising you, yeah, he's shaking you. He's the tiller of the soil. He's breaking up the soil to show what's really underneath of the foundation. Okay, just like he did with King David. At the end, King David found out his heart was just like the Most High at the core of it. Even though he turned away from the Lord for a second with Bathsheba, but at the end of the day, his heart turned back to the Father. At the end of the day, the elect heart is going to turn back to the Father, according to Malachi. Going to return the hearts of the children to the fathers. All right. So this path, the way of good works, are from Him, and we should be thankful for that path and the works that we do in this world. Getting up, going to work every day. It's the Lord that's giving you that drive. And if that ain't working for you, ask the Lord to make another way. Ask the Lord to put a smile on your face, because this world damn sure ain't gonna do it. And sometimes we can't even do it ourselves. So that's what he's saying right here, man. Just like I got checked with that. I was putting in resumes every left and right. But one job I prayed for, which I'm like, shit with that. I done walked into some shit here. But anyway, one job I decided to pray for, I just decided, I was like, I'm gonna try it. And I prayed and immediately got the call back in the job, right? That's not the important part, is that it's like, damn, are we having faith in resumes? Are we having faith in our own works instead of the Lord doing it for us? You send off that messenger pigeon, then you ask the Lord to get it there safely. Just like with Noah. He sent out the bird and said he prayed that he come back with an olive branch. All right. It says, yet the eye, where was that then? It says, error and darkness had their beginning together with sinners. And error means to be wicked. That's to miss the mark. Miss the mark. All right, being in error, idolatry. It had their start with sinners. And check this out. And evil shall wax old with them that glory therein. So the ones that's glorying in this world, glorying in wickedness, and only in this money, it's going to wax old with them, and you'll see it. And you'll be like, damn, why they ain't looking out? Why they ain't hitting me up, man? They getting paid. You think they're your friends or your family members, and they just balling, they getting old with it. And that's their life. They're in the matrix. But you got a different calling. You'll never fit in. You'll be amongst them, but you still won't fit in. Because the Lord got something else for you. Beyond that. With another class of people. A heavenly class. A heavenly Sanhedrin of elect men and women and children. So we can't lose sight of that, man. All right? Because error and darkness had their beginning together with sinners, and evil shall wax old with them that glory therein, especially church folks. All right. But he said, what? Victuals shall be so good cheap, people shall think themselves to be in good case. But even then shall the evils grow upon the earth. The prophecies, man, the judgments. All right. So their world is coming to an end. This system is passing away. It is a trap at the end. All right. That's the micro, the MOTB. So evil's gonna wax old with them. But the gift of the Lord remaineth with the godly, the spiritual, right? Unto the spiritual things, unto the carnal things. So the gift of the Lord, it's a gift, the grace of the Lord, being in His truth, the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and the law, and the love of the Most High, and the good works. That's the gift that's given to us, man. In our dead state, we didn't deserve it, but it's the Lord that gave it to us and chose you. All right, that's called a gift. That we didn't do anything to deserve it. That's called grace. So the gift of the Lord remaineth with the godly, and his favor bringeth prosperity forever. There is that waxeth rich in his weariness and pinching, and this is the portion of his reward. They're going to wax rich in this world, and that's their portion. That's it. But check this out. Whereas he saith, I have found rest, and now will eat continually of my goods, and yet knoweth not what time shall come upon him, and that he must leave those things to others and die. That's some scary shit right there, man. That's like the Matrix where he said, "Yo, the steak tastes so good. Ignorance is bliss. You know, ignorance is also destruction and vanity." But to know that any moment, if the Lord take us from this earth, our works are following us, and we look at upon His glory in the spirit world or in the kingdom, that He'll be proud of us, and He'll say, "Good work, my well done, my good and faithful servant." All right. So it says, "What? Be steadfast in thy covenant, and be conversant therein." So always remaining in this truth, always being around brothers where you could talk freely about the scriptures, and and don't cast your pearls before swine, but don't let them change you, because you'll go around Jake and they don't want to talk about this truth, you know. So you gotta kind of force it out there, you know. If you got to do that, get from around them, so you can be free. That's what I said. The Lord calling you to be alone or to be uh, in a class of a different people. Even though you remember how Wakanda was in that damn movie, Black Panther? They had their own society and shit, but they would go out into the world and deal with Esau, right? Wakanda was kind of hidden. But anyway, it says, "Be steadfast in thy covenant, man." So we're steadfast in the covenant that we made with the Lord, that the Lord has made with us, and hoping for the new covenant to attain unto that, where He put the laws in our inward part. But we're in a covenant with Him. Once you do this Passover, you eat the bread and you drink the wine. All right, we're in a covenant with the Lord, but we're hoping for the new covenant, where He puts the laws in our inward part and makes us perfect. That's the reward. So be steadfast in thy covenant and in the laws to the best of our ability, and be conversant therein. It's a beautiful thing to talk about this truth, man. You get around people, you talk about it, and they feel depressed and shit and mad because they don't like the truth. They don't like the light. And that's a bad thing. And wax old in thy works, man. See, that's why I love the elders, apostles of GMS, because I watched them grow old in this truth. And that we would never know the ability of a 65-year-old, 75-year-old if we didn't see one. It was a time here where they thought we were gonna be during the time of Tupac and them. The average age of life expectancy for a so-called black man was 25 or 26. Then you see somebody older in their 80s, you be like, whoa, you thriving, you chilling. You're old and weaker and all that, but you just see them thriving as a 75-year-old or 65-year-old. They say, if you ever feel old, ask somebody older than you. Say that to somebody older than you, that you old. So we got the elders to always look at in this work and see how they're thriving, man. So a lot of people get old quick. They got that old soul. You know, I'm an elder or I'm an old head. Or unk. All these weird terminologies, man. But if you look back on the old videos of Elder Yaquab, even today, Elder Apostle Tahar, Elder Apostle Gabar, Elder Rhyme Lab, um, Elder Rakah, they all moving around. Especially Elder Gabar doing the walking talks. He got a brother in this camp. I think he's about 65 years old, if I'm not mistaken. And he show up acting younger than us sometimes with his energy. So it's a mindset. We want to go old in our works, man. You know, it's a beautiful path. So it says, "Marvel not at the works of sinners." See, I've been getting money. Oh, you see people. I see people I know in private jets and famous and with famous people. I'm like, damn, that nigga, he know damn well I'm out here. And people that in my family that they know damn well they know you out there, bro. And they can easily shoot you something like, hey, here you go. But they won't do it. We don't look for them to do it, man. But um, you just thrive, and build your own, but with a even better foundation, and with an expectancy not to with an expectancy to lose everything here. All right. He said, if you gain anything, it's to put it into a bag with holes. So as soon as you put it in the bank, this system is plucking from it, Esau system, or put into a house. Whatever you invest your money in, it's going to depreciate. All right. So marvel not at the works of sinners and what they're building. Their status, their none of that. Their faces, their degradation, their humiliation they try to put on you. Don't marvel at it. I was marveling at it recently, like, who the hell they think they talk? They know exactly who they're talking to. They're talking to you. They try to tear you down, or sometimes they ain't even intentional. So we're being tested. All right. Are you gonna look at yourself through their eyes, or are you gonna look at yourself through heaven's eyes? How the Lord see you. You gotta remember, he said, I've said ye are God. And he said, keep your mind on me. And we gotta keep our minds on him and remember his secret place. So marvel not at the works of sinners, but trust in the Lord and abide in thy labor. All right, abide in the work, man. It's cozy there, ain't it? It's a seat waiting for you there all the time, man. Thankfully, you always got to continue in this work. You go to the world. He said, "Such a man looketh into the mirror and walk away and forget what type of manner what manner of man he was." Excuse me. So that's saying this, the scriptures. You um being a king, you gotta get off the throne sometimes and go out and operate and deal in the world. But when you come back, you feel dirty before you sit on your throne, man, which is in this truth. He gave us a seat. He said, "Arise and sit down, shake thyself from the dust." And then you go out and deal with the people, you get dirty again. You're like, damn, man, these people, man. You go home and do your lesson, or you talk to some brother, you feel clean again. Or you pray. We can't forget that. All right. So marvel not at the works of sinners, especially this new world order, but trust in the Lord, man, and abide in thy labor. For it is an easy thing in the sight of the Lord. This is scripture I was talking about earlier. And there. You got a lot of people that walked away from you too in this truth, man. Next thing you know, you'll see them, they balling out. But you could have did that in the truth, bro. You could have did the same thing being in the truth. And, you make it like because you out of the truth now, you rich, you balling, you got some new shoes on your feet. It's gonna walk your ass right into a trap. But the Lord said, "Marvel not at the works of sinners, but trust in the Lord and abide in thy labor, in thy labor. For it is an easy thing in the sight of the Lord on the sudden to make a poor man rich, man. And you'll know what to do with the money. Because you got the Lord dealing with you. Man, I'm thankful. It'd be better to have the mind of Yahweh Shem Shai and have these worldly riches and be able to distribute and delegate over it, and handle it righteously, instead of being wicked as hell and being two times a child of Satan. with riches to do more wickedness and create more vices for yourself. All right. So the blessing of the Lord is in the reward of the godly, and suddenly he maketh his blessing to flourish.